Hello fellow Lightseekers, Kamikaze here with my very first Lightseekers video. Just wanted to make a deck list, or sort of, yeah, deck list I guess is what you want to call it, on the deck that I ran at our first local tournament that I got second place at in Computer and Gaming Universe in Newark, New Jersey. There's only a couple people. I think there was 7 entries in. I went 2-1. It sucks that, you know, it was a tiny tournament, but it's still really good that we're getting more people interested in Lightseekers, and that's the major thing right now. I don't really care about winning, I care about getting the game bigger. So every week we do weekly tournaments. Either we're going to do AB schedule between regular, actually, like, tournament rules, and then we're going to do drafts. So it's AB. So this following week is going to be drafts. So if you guys are in the area or interested, be sure to call them up. Be sure to come Fridays. So again, this is the deck that I ran. I got second place. I won first set 2-0 versus Sicario Dread. Not Sicario Dread. The Dread starter deck. Second set I won 2-1 versus Aggro tech deck, and then the third set I lost 0-2 versus Sicario Dread. Sicario Dread's really good. So I used Lalu the Rascal, Superior and Storm, as you see, and then the passive is gain 1 additional action if you're 10 or less health when your turn starts. So think about that. You only get 2 actions in this game, so 3 actions just to burst somebody down. Sounds really good, right? So I'm gonna go in order for because I don't really know how decks like deck videos are really made. I haven't really looked through a lot, but I'll go into order from order the elements. So I'll go electric, water, wind as best as I can, and then I'll go from attack, defense, and then buffs, and then combo buffs afterwards. So first off, I'm gonna go for the attacks. I ran triple Spark Wisp. Spark Wisp just vanilla 5 damage, nothing too crazy. It's really nice that it's lightning, because you can use it with the other lightning attacks or the other lightning cards in your hand to just get off a lot of quick damage. Second MVP for damage in the lightning category, good old Living Cloud. Living Cloud just 4 damage, 2 damage extra if the person has no buffs, so pretty good. You know, if you do stuff like Thunder Slug, clear their board a little bit, or turn 1 Living Cloud, you do 6 damage, really good swing. I run 1 Crackling Beast. Crackling Beast is okay. It's not the MVP kind of card for damage, but you can do stuff like, say if like a Bubblefish is on its last leg or something and you really need that damage, you could just, you know, sacrifice it, do the 6 damage instead of the 3. It's not the worst. And then my last, actually, before I go to underline, my bad. I said I was going to go in order, let me go in order. Right here, I run 3 Heroic Starfish. Just because I'm an aggro deck doesn't mean I don't want to heal sometimes. And basically life sapping 3 health from somebody and giving it to myself seems pretty good, right? And then for my last elemental attack is Dust Fiend, 4 damage, but it's the MVP for combos. Its effect, you can basically change it to whatever combo or whatever element you need, depending on if you have access to that element or not. Of course, I can't make it like crystal if I don't have like the crystal weapon or the ability to use crystal cards. But I think for storm decks, that's at least 1 is an auto include. And then lastly, I'll go back to my Sneaky Creeble. 4 damage, goes right through damage reduction, so it goes right through Moss Surge Defenders, right through Yukona Oracles, Wall of Bones, just, you know, that stuff. All that, all those shields that try to make it hard for you to win the game with your aggro shenanigans. So on to defense. I only run a few defense because, again, this is a majority aggro deck, so it's not too crazy. 1 therapeutic heal, deal 3 damage to myself, draw 3 cards. Works really well in synergy with Bubblefish. Say on the same turn you want to drop Bubblefish, I get 2 damage reduction, then I drop therapeutic heal and I take 1 damage. If I wait a turn, it's no damage and you draw 3 cards. Pretty solid. Second draw engine is Delivery Crab. I get 3 healing as a process for it. Just helps me cycle through my deck a little bit better. My only majority healing outside of combo is Vitalizing Frog. Just 6 damage. Like, sometimes you really need that health or else you're gonna get killed by like a crazy combo or something like that. And then the final defense is Umbral Marauder. Umbral Marauder is really good in this deck, I think, because when you're playing aggro, your opponent really can't play to their pace that they want to do. Like, say if they're a control-y or setup type deck, if you're constantly rushing them down with damage, they have to sort of do the same to you. And at times you will be the one at lower damage because you have to like either draw or you have to just set up for, you know, some sort of combo play or something like that. So just dealing 6 damage to them at random time is really, really solid. And again, I'll go on to my first lightning buff, which is the MVP of the deck. That works really well with all my attack cards that you just seen. So here it is, the boy Storm Shaman. So corner 2, when he rotates, he'll increase all the damage you do to somebody by 4. So again, Umbral Marauder, instead of it being 6, now it's 10. Or something like Sneaky Creeble, instead of it going through damage reduction only dealing 4, now it'll deal 8. So really, really crazy swings that you could get off. And that's even before you start thinking about with combos. So up next, we have 1 Electrified Moat. It's very similar to, I use it similar to how taunts are in Hearthstone, or how wards are in Shadowverse if you play those kind of card games. Makes your opponent have to double think about playing an attack card because they're going to take 3 damage. So how it works is all 4 corners is 3, and it's clunky, so it only works when the person attacks you. So they announce the attack, they use the card, they take the 3 damage, and then the attack goes on me, or on you, depending on, you know, whoever. So it's pretty solid. I think it works out really well. It forces either buff removal or for them to not really play their attacks once they're at like, you know, 14, 15 health, something like that. For waters, I only play 2 Bubblefish. I know I'm an aggro deck, but, you know, 1, the Bubblefish is too cute not to run, and 2, like, sometimes you just need to play Bubblefish and pass, and then the next turn you just pass to get some draw power in when you don't get enough cards. Speaking of draw power, though, Hurricane Spirit. First 2 corners do nothing, and the second corner is clunky, with the attack ability of moving 2 rotation cards from your opponent's hand to their deck, and then I draw 3 cards, or you draw 3 cards, whoever. Really solid. Super good draw engine. It sucks that you have to waste an ability, like an action to use it, but getting 3 cards is really, really good. Triple Thunder Slug. After playing the game and playing against Sicario Dread, Thunder Slug's kind of mediocre because it only removes rotation buffs. So if you're playing against other other classes besides Sicario Dread, or besides Dread, or maybe even Nature too, Thunder Slug you probably want to put 2 of. Unfortunately, you know, I didn't have a side deck at the time, so I couldn't really swap out. 2 Cloud Harvester. First 2 turns do 1 ping to your opponent, and then the second returns 2 lightning action cards from your grave to your hand. So if you forget, you can return stuff like Crackling Beast, Living Cloud, maybe Spark Wisp. If you need more draw power, you could get Therapeutic Eel, this bad boy, and you can even get Storm Shaman back too. So gives you a lot of potential, and plenty of times my opponents were using their removal on it just because they were too scared of me getting all my aggro power back. And then the final card to fill out the 30 is Maribard. So her ability is she makes everything on your opponent's side of the field dormant, and dormant's the mechanic in the game that turns everything off. So like none of the abilities work. If they're active buffs or if they're active combo buffs, anything like that, they just don't work till she rotates out. If they decide to play a buff as well, it's also dormant. So it's really, really good. It's solid pick if they have a lot of damage reduction and you don't have like Sneaky Creebles in your hand or something like that. You can just drop her and then just start wailing on the person because their damage reduction is down. You'll see I put a second one in my extra deck just in case if I'm in a really crazy matchup or whatnot. So onto the combos. Combos are pretty self-explanatory. For the double water, I run Murky Water. 7 damage, but increases by 5 if they have over 20 health. You pair that alongside Storm Shaman, it becomes 16. Really, really powerful swing. Flying Debris, double wind, or double air, 6 damage, and then you get to choose either draw 2 cards or the cards that you use as payment you keep in your hand. For the most part, I use it to draw 2 because again, when you play a combo, if you're new to Lightseekers, then after you play one of these combo cards, you draw a card as your basically like your reward for playing a combo. So you'll Flying Debris, draw 2 cards by using its first effect, and then you'll draw another card for playing a combo. Really, really strong. Lightning Water is Electro Stun. 7 damage when you play it on your opponent, and then if they want to attempt to play a card, they have to discard a card as payment first. Really good. Sort of like a pseudo taunt in the same way Electrified Moat is, where it forces your opponent to like probably not play a card and pass, but then if they do, they're playing against an aggro deck, and I could probably bypass and deal a lot more damage. Way more than 7 in a turn, right? It's really good. The only iffy combo card I had that I put in was Healing Rain. First 2 corners does 4 healing, and then the last corner does 5 healing, or 5 healing. It's not really good. Water Wind is okay. It's sort of easy to get off, but like more often than not, I didn't want to play it because I want to go on the offensive rather than the defensive. I felt like I needed some sort of like extra healing besides Vitalizing Frog and the Heroic Starfishes, but it's a bad idea. And then the final combo is Tornado. So Tornado is double wind, electric water, or lightning water. 10 damage, and then I move 4 your discarded actions from my discard pile to my deck. So again, you play this, you get all your lightning aggro cards back to your deck. Really, really solid. So I'll go combo first. So this would have been my side deck if I did run one. Stormwall, really, really good. Corner 1, 3, and 4 does 4 damage to your opponent, and then the additive effect is you can't be attacked. So if you pair that up with Lalu the Rascal, say you're like at 9 health or something, you play Stormwall, deal 4 to your opponent, and they can't attack you, but you get 3 actions on your next turn. Super, super strong, super powerful. I would have ran one more Therapeutic Heal just in case if I needed draw power. It's really, really solid. Just mill through your deck really quick. Impress Seahorse, I looked through my collection, pretty good. Say if you play something like a Flying Debris, you deal a 6 damage 1 turn, use the first effect to draw 2 cards, and then you draw another card for playing a combo. That's 3 chances of you drawing into Impress Seahorse. So that means turn 6, 1 turn, and then Impress Seahorse does 7 damage if the last discarded card, which would be Flying Debris, is a combo. So 7 damage and 6 damage on 1 turn, 7 damage on another turn is pretty good. The last 2 water cards that would have been in my side deck, or storm cards, would have been Wind Controller. Turn 1 does nothing in the next 2 corners. Your attack, defend combos, and expired buffs go back to your hand. Really, really solid. As you see, I run a lot of low-cost combo cards. So these are all my low-cost combo cards. For the most part, they all would come right back to my hand. Really, really crazy good. And then Mari Bard, as I said before, just turning off your opponent's buffs is really, really strong. So, running 2 wouldn't have been that bad. For my unaligned, I would have ran 2 more Sneaky Creebles, just in case if my opponent was playing super defensive, a lot of like damage reduction stuff. Weapon Master, I think this is just the auto-include in every side deck, just in case if you're playing against cross-order decks. There was no cross-order decks at the tournament, but just, future reference. Umbrana Informant, since you're playing an aggro deck, you probably want some sort of draw power. Like, if you just vomit your hand of damage on, like, for the first 2 turns or whatever, you draw into an Umbrana Informant, you just pick up all the cards your opponent has in their hand, you equal it, and then that's how many you draw. And then Creeble Saboteur sort of works with the whole if your opponent's playing super defensive and you don't have any Sneaky Creebles. It bypasses, for the first 3 corners, it bypasses 3 damage, and I'm pretty sure all the cards that reduce damage, like Moss Surge Defender, like Wall of Bones, like Icona Oracle, like those cards, I think the maximum they could get is 3 outside of having power, but power is getting changed anyway. But that would have been the side deck. Yeah, that was the deck I used. I know there's a couple of problems with the deck, but I had really fun time with it. After looking through this video, I see that it's kind of difficult to read the text, so don't worry. On the side right here, I'll put the pictures of the cards so you guys can read the text better as I go through the cards. But thank you again for watching the video, and if you guys are interested in playing Lightseekers, there is an online Lightseekers League Discord. I'll leave it in the description down below if you guys want to join. There's plenty of people there. Everyone talks about, you know, the latest card reveals for Mythic. Everybody just talks about, you know, the pack openings, what cards they got, like if people want to run games with one another, stuff like that. So everyone's very friendly, everyone's very helpful. So just food for thought. Again, thank you very much, guys, for watching, and I'll be back with some more Lightseekers videos.